at the second step, we will prepare cost accumulation and unit cost summary. For the cost accumulation and unit cost summary, we will use the quantity schedule first part. Look at this. These are headings will be used over here. We had beginning work in process units. Here we will have beginning work in process cost. Beginning work in process cost, and for the application and use of weighted average method, we need the breakup of these costs. So we will write down the breakup of these costs under each cost element. 6300 department A, 4250 material A, 0 material B, 2360 labor, and 2750 FOH. If we don't have this breakup, we cannot apply weighted average method. For application of weighted average method, we have to have this breakup of the cost. Then the cost added during this period. We had received 12,000 units from the preceding department in this period of February, and those units bearing cost 4.25 per unit. And when we multiply 12,000 with 4.25, we will get 51,000. And material A cost has been given in our question. Material B cost will also be given. Direct labor is given, and FOH is also given. When we total them, previous period cost and this period cost, that would have a total cost. And in this units, we have also total the units. Mean we have not distinguished 1500 units from these in this period units. That's the average method of costing. So we have total the cost, and total equivalent units are 13,000, 13,000, 11,000, 12,000, and 12,000, which we have calculated in table 1. When we divide total cost with the equivalent units, we will have a cost per equivalent unit of each cost element. And when we have a total of these cost elements, that would be 13.6443 for cost of completed unit in department B in the month of February, for which we are having the cost of production report. And the third step is cost reconciliation summary. For the calculation of cost reconciliation summary, we may have a second part of the quantity schedule. In second part, we have two cost figures or two headings, that is completed and transferred out, and ending work in process, and normal units. And normal units are 0, so we can ignore that normal units, because we don't have to separate that normal unit. We have to include that cost of normal loss to the good units, which are 11,000 and 2,000. So for the reconciliation summary, first of all, completed and transferred out, we have completed 11,000 units, and per unit cost of completed product is 13.6443. When we multiply these two figures, we will get 1,50,087. For the material A, it will be like so and so, because we are using total figure, that's why we need not to multiply the individual figures of the individual cost elements, because we have totaled this before, and then we have to multiply only 11,000 with the per unit cost. Then what about the work in process ending units? We have 2,000 units, and with the stage of completion, we had calculated equivalent unit of each cost element. So with respect to A, department A, with respect to material A, material B, labor, and FOH we have, and we will use these figures for the calculation of ending work in process inventory cost. Here we have 2,000 equivalent units of department A, and we will multiply department A cost per equivalent unit, that is 4.40. So 2000 multiplied by 4.40, that becomes 8,815. For material A, 2000 are equivalent units, multiplied by 1.3554 cost per equivalent unit as respect to material A, that is 2711. With respect to material B, that are 0 equivalent units, so cost is 0. With respect to labor, that are 1000 equivalent units, and when we multiply 3.3283 with this figure, we will have 3328. And for the FOH, we have 1000 equivalent units, and we will multiply FOH per unit equivalent cost, that is 4.14348. We will have 4,144. And the total cost of work in process ending inventory is 18,998. When we add this cost and this cost, we will have 1,69,085, which is equal to the total cost which we applied in this period, we have calculated in this period. So in this way we have reconciled this cost with this figure. Now, how journal entries would be made? Journal entries are simple. When we received units from preceding department, we make the entry work in process department B debit, work in process department A credit. And when we charge the cost to the department, that is work in department B debit, and materials, payroll and factory overhead accounts are credited. I have already explained this in my previous lecture, so there is no need to explain whole this situation. You can understand it by watching those videos. However, you may have total of these costs. There is 51,000. We use this 51,000 over here. This is total this that is 17,870. We have used this 17,870, and 37,580 over here, that is used over here. So in this way you can have all this in entries information from your above tables. Now the cost of transferred out to the finished goods. So this table will guide you the cost of finished goods transferred out. So 1,50,087 is the cost which is completed and transferred out. For the calculation of this cost, we have made all these calculations and we have prepared cost of production summary. And for this figure, we have to use this figure in this entry, and for recording this entry, we will calculate this figure, and for the calculation of this figure, we will do all these calculations. So this is the whole working of recording of the cost of completed units or transferred to the next department, and for the calculation of this figure. So in this way, we will have a record of finished goods debit and work in process department B account is credit from, because goods have been transferred from B to finished goods. And what is the work in process account? We will debit this part of the table will be debit side, and this part of the table will be credit side. So we will debit work in process account with the beginning balance, with the cost charged to department. These four costs were charged to department in this period, and cost sent from this department in the shape of finished products. Those are the cost out to the department, and that is the ending work in process inventory. In this way, we can have work in process account. And hope so you have understood the treatment of normal loss when their normal loss is occurred during the process and is charged to work in process and finished goods inventory evenly. It means that we have not separated the cost, and automatically that cost has been charged or included in the cost of finished goods as well as in the cost of work in process inventory. We have already included the cost of lost unit in 13.6443. So in solution 1, look at this, we have 12.8382 cost per unit. But in question number 2, we have 13.664643. This means this increase in cost due to the lost units, because units are lost, and the due to loss of that unit, that is the normal loss which has been charged to the good units or remaining units. That's why their cost per unit has increased. So hope so you have understood whole concept of applying or calculating normal lost units to the production, and calculation of equivalent units, and preparation of cost of production report in the condition of normal spoilage during the process, which is charged to finished products and finished units and work in process units.